Hi everyone. Welcome to our very first Yes Talk. Before we begin, let me give you a brief idea about what Yes Talk actually is. it is a platform for people to share their innovative ideas, related thoughts regarding entrepreneurship, management, or even to talk about and share their experiences regarding such related topics. So now, when you need a platform to start or launch your startup ideas, you know where to go. So, without any further delay, let me introduce you to our speaker of the day, Pratmika Sarkar. She is an alumna of ASB Bangalore, 2019 pass out batch, and with an expertise in HR and technical recruitment. She's also a certified soft skill motivational trainer from Kala Academy, and she has also worked as a career success person and has a versatile expertise in different client hiring processes. She's currently working as a talent engagement associate at Geek Trust. Welcome, Pratmika. Over to you.
Thank you, Maya. Thanks a lot for a sweet introduction. So, going forward with the things. So, today, as you know, our topic is talent branding. So, I will be taking small aspects about what is branding all about, what is personal branding, how do you do self promotion, and understanding on employee branding perspective, and a little bit terms of HR, which are little extra to explain, but we will try to focus on all of them. So, with the same thing, we will begin. Just to set some rules from our end that if you have any specific doubts during our conversation with each other, you can type it out in the chat box so that even I can see through on a detail, and I will try to explain my best from my end. And please keep yourself pretty active because I might take randomly somebody and just ask a random question, not related with talent branding's perspective, but anything I can ask. So please be active. And if it's feasible for everybody to turn on their videos, that will be really helpful. So just to have a understanding who's who, because I've never seen anyone, that will be really helpful. All right, shall we begin, guys? Should we? Anybody say yes or no?
I think we're good to go.
Great. So, as I was saying, what is branding? Branding is creating a name, symbol, or design that can be identified for the company by any clients or customers or anybody from other side. So, branding can be prospectively said that it can be done for anything, whichever is existing or non-existing as well. But it totally depends that how you focus to the targeted audience. All right. So if you see, you can brand yourself as one of the time Joe had asked me what is the difference between personal branding and employee branding and talent branding. So personal branding is branding yourself focusing to specific focus topic. So it's very like a thin line difference between personal promotion with personal branding. So personal promotion is like I'm good at music. I know how to compose song. I am good at talking to people. I know my communication skills are great. So this is like a personal promotion. What is personal branding is when you particularly focus your skill set on the particular targeted audience. So if I am good at communication, I can be good at communication with anyone. So I can just say I'm good at communication with clients. So it will be more on a marketing perspective, more on a customer success manager perspective. If I say I'm good at communication with the candidates, it is more an HR candidate perspective. So I'm just highlighting my resume, my style, my understanding of myself and selling myself to a particular focus point. So that is what personal branding is all about. Any doubts with that? No. Okay. So going with the next thing, what is employer branding? So there's a thin line difference with employer branding as well as with talent branding, but there is a difference. So employer branding is majorly on what they position all about. So you know about perks and benefits and all these things, right? About the companies. So what company does is to make candidate attract to them, they show what are their perks, what are benefits they provide, so which position you need to fill. That's the focus point which company thinks first thing. So for example, if I have to fill a senior Java candidate, I would try to find out somebody from that focal point itself, that is my targeted audience. Then I will tell that any Java candidate who joins my company is going to get benefits of 15 days extra holidays. That is what's the benefit that they are going to get on. Who is your ideal candidate? That is also very important to understand the targeted positioning which we do of our specific employee branding. All right. So, in the sense, let's take for example, as I said, the Java developer. So, that's our main requirement. Now, I will try to understand what kind of Java developer I require. Understanding on the technical skill wise, on education perspective wise, where they have studied on IIT, IIMs, or as per their age group which they are going to be on, how many years of experience this person has, and according to it, we will start our branding proposition that we want a senior Java developer who is 5 to 8 years of experience and he should have these all technical stack. Now, how should I attract that kind of audience? So, first thing we'll see that if this audience is more into benefits, more onto salary perspective, more on a holiday perspective understanding. So, market research is done on the specific requirements. After the market research is done, we do a net promoter score. What is NPS? Does anybody know about it? So NPS is net promoter score. So what happens? We provide a survey to a candidate which shows from good to bad positioning of what is the understanding of a candidate's understanding towards the company. So if I ask you, why do you like this company? And is this company really good to join? And I give you a score promoter from 1 to 10, from good to bad, 10 being good, 1 being bad. So you, if you register as 9 to 10, it's a good promoter score. Means it's really great to go for. If majority people choose it for good, then company can focus, okay, these kind of candidates are interested on me. If they say many people say it's bad, then company focuses on why they are bad in the specific things. They try to improvise themselves in employee branding perspective. And then they try to make it sure that the candidate's next feedback is proper and we try to sell them accordingly to their interest. All right. Now, the thin line difference between employer branding and talent branding is that employer branding is about four major perspectives: which, who, what, and why. Which position you will fill for, who is your ideal candidate, what is your exceptional as an employer, what kind of exceptional things you provide as a candidate, why would you be an ideal candidate for this company. So, if you see, they are majorly focusing on your perks, benefits, your work environment, your culture, your career perspective on that kind of focuses on employer branding. But talent branding is a current employee who is already existing in the company telling about his story, how he is going through with the company, how his experience has been with the company. So this is a new market which is coming up right now. Okay, so I'll just share you my screen. Just a second. Yeah. So, as I was saying, why do you need a talent branding? So that you can understand what is the current scenario of the company with the current employee's perspective. So, as Joe always talks about EY all the time, that hey, EY is this and that. You understand more understanding on a person perspective what he has been doing, how it's going for them specifically. Okay. Now, if he doesn't tell you about this, then the only thing which you know about it as per the EY's image is what kind of perks is going to provide, what kind of benefits is going to provide, what is the salary right now, what they're looking at as a 3 to 5 years of experience person. But giving a personal understanding on what this employee is going through, how he is benefiting, is what talent branding is all about. It's two different things which are coming here. So, what talent branding will focus on is what talent practices which makes a key employer for the candidate. So, a candidate should understand what kind of practices this company follow to make the employer feel more good about its stay in the company. So, it's more on a retention perspective. What is retention is staying with the company for a longer period of time. Nobody wants to pay for a person who will stay here after getting a training and leaving it after 2 3 years. So retention is one of the major factors of talent branding. Okay. Now, what jobs will enable you to make the most impact and develop as an individual? How does this work? Is this happened with me that I was focusing with one of the particular client, won't mention the name. So this client required some senior candidates for some specific technical stack, let's take front end tech stack or something like that. Now, for that, they had organized an event. Why do they organize these events and all those things? Is so that so that the people who come for this specific event they understand what this company is helping this specific employee out, what kind of learning, what kind of impact they have provided to the specific individual as an employer. And this helps the candidate to understand, okay, this company is actually putting efforts to make me grow in my career path, so this company is really good to go for me. So these are the personal touches which they go for. So what kind of impact and what kind of development it does to an individual who joins to the company, what it is like to work for your company on day to day basis. As I said, it's a personal touch all about, and there are ways to take forward these things. So I will talk about the strategies in next step itself. How is the recruitment process and candidate and talent centered? So guys, just wanted to understand, have you all gone through your placements right now, if I'm correct?
No, the first years haven't.
Okay. So when you go through your placements, if I say you go through a placement process and during that interview process, they make you wait for 2 to 3 hours, almost it's evening. And after they say you that right now we won't be able to take your interview process, you'll take it next day. Won't you get irritated if I think so? Or will you feel that this company is not reliable? Why is this company doing this to me? Just 2 or 3 people are here, then why the hell I have to wait so much? So this kind of understanding is that candidates' expectations towards company is going low. So it also is a part of employer process. It's also a part of talent branding that the candidate understands during the interview process. If things don't go well, then the branding of the company also goes down, because that is also something a candidate looks forward for. So there has been a lot of time when I have gone to a hiring drive, when people have not willing to join the company after getting the offer because they had to wait 2 to 3 hours for an interview process for so long. It's totally understandable that how the panelists have to take their time off. Everything goes side by side, but it's very important to understand candidate perspective also. That's why talent branding comes a very big picture on that. How does a panelist behave when a candidate goes inside the company, like goes inside the interview process? Is he literally focusing towards the question, or he's just randomly asking some kind of personal questions which are not fit for the question, not fit for the current situation, for the job profile? So these are some things which are really needed to be focused on, and these are also part of the talent branding perspective of a candidate. So the interview process, how fast it is going, how the offers are taken out, all these are perspective which our talent branding is also focusing on. So it's just not about perks, benefit, careers, and everything. It's all about real life experience. All right. So as we were going through, this whole thing which I'm talking about, it's also distributed in value proposition. So as I said, it's really important that we all do talent branding, we do employer branding, but it's very important that everything has its own cost. So even for branding, it requires cost. Nothing comes for free. And the cost which is invested on hiring a person is called cost per hire. So how do we calculate cost per hire is the internal recruitment cost. It's a very vast topic which I can explain next time. So internal recruitment cost plus external recruitment with total number of hires. So there is internal recruitment cost, like the panelists who are going to be there, how much extra we are going to pay them for each interview process. So they are taking out their time for taking an interview. So obviously they will ask some benefits, right? That's what happens in many companies. So that is the internal recruitment cost. Now external recruitment cost, providing vendors for food. If somebody has to come for a complete 1 hour drive, then there should be food provided by the company because candidate is coming for a long time. And there are many other things. And after all these are their total number of hires. So for a month, if I want to close a position of 10 people, focusing on that perspective is also very important. So everything has its own cost. So going with the things again, here is what employee value proposition is distributed into. What is your current employer brand strategy? So, what is currently your employer helping you as a brand strategy? Understanding the competitive position. Employer's brand strategy can be through many different strategy perspective. So first, as I said, that we can provide events. Then there is social media uh, management, which is I guess you already know that Maria and Hari are already doing it for Yes, right? So that is a brand strategy which are trying to build on so that people can join our group. So that is one of the employer brand strategy which we are taking for. Next thing which we are going forward with is another stuff which I can say on perspective of social media, then understanding on who all are going to be part of, then word to word advertisements. So word to word advertisement means that I am talking about this company's benefits, what I have provided on. So that is one of the brand strategy. Advertisement through television and other media platform, that is one of the way. Then vision and goals of the management. That is also something which you as a candidate for sure will look on. So if you go to a website of a company and if you find the vision and mission really like vague, would you trust that company? Mm, if somebody can answer me that. So Mario, would you trust a company with a very vague kind of vision and mission or not a good website on their end?
Definitely no.
So, as I said, the vision and mission has to be very clear. So, if you know what is vision is, vision statement is something which is delivered for long run objective of your company, and statement is a roadmap which they are going to follow to reach the vision statement which they are going to forward for. So, the first thing which they is going to be is what your mission is going to about, reaching to your vision. So, first step is mission, then comes the vision for your company. Now, corporate branding strategy. It is different from current employer brand strategy because corporate branding strategy in whole, what the company is all about. Like your products, your building the company as a revenue generating company, and what they're currently doing on the outings which they go on, showing all those are corporate branding strategy. So if you see the LinkedIn page of a company, you will find a lots of detail on different minor perspective from their specific product which they are going to build on, what kind of new things which they are going to come up with, the new projects they are going to come up with. So and what they are gone as an outing, what kind of corporate social responsibilities they have focusing on. So those kind of things are corporate branding strategy to show that how good this company is all about, what they have been doing for the like for other customers as well, and showing that they are good to go. They have money in their pockets and they can pay the candidate who is going to join. And culturally, the company is sounding pretty good for an understanding perspective. Now, competitor positioning is really important and it is done through market research, majorly to understand what is the current budget scenario. So, it's very much required when you hire somebody to have a parity in the position. So, if I'm hiring somebody for 2 to 4 years of experience or a fresher, for example, if you are now going to join somewhere, depending upon the company to company, whether it's a product company or whether it's a service company, it's really important that we decide a parity of the position. So if as a marketing specialist, you might get 6 to 7 LPA if a really good company is all about, but they will also remain a parity that they don't want you to get so much extra amount from the already existing employee who is there, because that will not maintain a parity in the sense equal pay amount. Plus that will create a chaos between the employees if they get to know about what is your current salary. At the same time, if there's another competitor, for example, let's take Coca-Cola and Pepsi. You join Coca-Cola, you get 7 LPA. Pepsi is providing you 10 LPA, and you then get to know from other of your friends that hey, this company is providing 10 LPA, why would I stay in here? Then you will apply to other companies. So you need to maintain a parity between all the companies which are already existing in the same industry so that the things go well with it. All right, so I will tell you some experience which I had been through talent branding, understanding how did I handled it. So as I said, I am also a fresher in my first company. So I had no clue about doing anything specific to talent branding perspective. Even I was just put into it because I had an internship in digital marketing. So it was the first time. It's a huge company as well, the client which I was working with. And I got this opportunity because one of the person had just left the company for some time for a holiday purpose. So in that perspective, the first thing I got to know that there are many different strategies which a companies go for. From infographic, infographics are graphical images, which I think the Joe will be explaining in his design sessions. They are small images which completely describe about info, like through image, they are going to explain about small details in a very easy to understand way through images. So now infographics, how does it come in here is because infographics are also used to highlight specific job description. I believe you, if I have sent you the Gojek Instagram page. If you see Gojek's employee branding or the specific position branding in an infographic perspective on the Instagram photos which they post is absolutely amazing. So it's like short, sweet, and very easy and attractive to understand. So that is one thing which they go for. Now blogs. Blogs, how it is done? Now, blog is a very interesting thing which I already know, I believe that you already know about. But blog for a perspective as a client or blog as a perspective of company, you have a talk with a very extraordinary employee which is already existing in your company who has done an exceptional performance or has shown something very unique perspective. You have a conversation with that person on a daily basis and try to understand it. Take the details onto it and write it down, and then slowly, whoever is a content creator, you provide the details to that person, and he creates the content and post in the blog. You might have seen lots of blog with regards to interview process as well, to how to crack an interview process. Why do they give such kind of hint is that they want to find a specific ideal candidate. Every company has a specific ideal candidate and they want to reach out to the person. So when you get a mail from a company, you will see that this company works in yada 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 things, and then below you will find these are the questions which have been cracked by the other employees before who are joined already. This is the person who is going to interview you. This is the things which can be asked. So why these questions are taken care? Because if the candidate matches the expectations which are there, then he will understand what he needs to work on when he joins with the company. So all these informations are taken care with the blog perspective. Now going with the events. Why events are done with the company is that to build connection. First thing first, you register for the event. You give your phone number, you give your email ID, which is an amazing way to send you mails, SMS, spam you. I guess I can say spam you through all the details about what this company is doing. Not necessarily with the job description related with your specific openings, but what this company is doing and all about. Someday or other, you will for sure check out the company detail or company's mail and see, okay, this company is doing something very interesting to my interest. Let me see if I'm looking out. I'm not looking out. Let me just apply in their career page. Now, if you see now, people are investing in their career page also to make it very fancier, to make it very easy to understand, the JD being very fancy to understand. So these are something small, small, minute things which we look on to for. And events also helps candidate to provide us focus understanding. So let's take demystifying the AI and machine learning. And we invite only people who are already experienced in data science, big data, machine learning, all these candidates. Now we have a bunch of 60 people who are prospectively looking out or might be passively looking out. And if they like the specific event, they will surely apply to our company. How do we know about it? We take a feedback form. Feedback form is something which helps in understanding the net promoter score, which we had talked about before. Okay. So now net promoter score helps us to understand why would the candidate be interested in, and if they show that this candidate is interested in, call him immediately, get him joined. That's the how the interview process works on. It's very fast process. Okay. Now the last but not the least is CEO talk. Any talk with your CEO, who is the brand image of this specific place, is the person who is going to show you what this company is going to do about. If, as a person, I'm working in a company, I look up to my CEO that what this man is going to go next step. Is he going to do raise a money right now? Is he raise a funding or everything? So all these details are taken care by the CEO, how the CEO is good or not. So I'll tell you, like, I had people from Google, from Facebook, from such companies to go into a startup. Why? Because the CEO of that specific company is a person who is an ex-founder of so and so company, like ex-founder of Flipkart or some other company, and then go towards it. They are not thinking about that time about salary. They're thinking about what kind of growth perspective they will have, even though they are already in a well-established company. So a CEO is also a brand image, which is very important for a company to go forward with. So as I said, it's totally depending upon interest to interest. Okay. Any doubts till now, guys? Anything you want to know about? No. Mhm. Okay. So I think so this session is going to wrap up pretty soon. So going with the next thing. These are some facts from some informational website which are pretty interesting, which I thought I would like to share. So 95% of the candidate identify through the reputation as a key factor where they consider a new job. So if the uh, reputation of this company is good, many candidates can feel that relatability. So if you see TCS, Infosys, they have a really great brand image, and many people want to go towards it. And even your parents will also force you to go towards it because the brand image is so good. Saying that if somebody says about startup at a times, they hesitate to go towards it, saying that it's very risky. It's we don't know about the company. We are not sure about it, but risk involves learning as well. So there is two factors which comes in the picture. So many candidates or many people who want to join towards it because of the reputation of the company. All right. So first thing first, my screen is visible to everybody. Maria, is
Yes.
my screen visible?
Yeah, yeah, it is visible.
Great. Now, a strong employer brand can reduce your cost per hire. So, what do you mean by strong employer brand? As I said, if a company has a great, strong understanding on what they're looking forward for, and they are showing the employer brand as that, um, let's take a company, for example, Flipkart. Flipkart is a e-commerce company which is into specifically in multiple domains, and they're bringing out new projects now and then. They are bringing the chatbot, they're trying to make easy payment options. These all are new projects which are coming on. So any candidate from a technical hiring perspective will think that they are always bringing new projects. So that is an interesting thing which I would like to work on, if I would also like to suggest on. And the company shows the employer branding that hey, we are a technologist company more than an e-commerce company, then the person will be willing to apply on this company because that's the growth process they are looking for. Okay. And plus the qualification of the applicants also by 50%. Why it's saying? Because if the candidate matches the employer branding understanding, is like if I'm going for a technologist company, if I'm, for example, my company, Geek Trust, it's into HR and they're into hiring. They're also into technology space company. Now, my previous experience was into technical recruitment, so I will search into the industry which is matching my understanding, matching my profile as well, right? Now, if I find this company interesting towards me, okay, they are working into some developer hiring, which I have already done. They are doing something like coding challenges that is already done. So I would like to be part of that company because I get to search and find out something new about it. They are into same domain which I have worked on, but I will learn something new about it. And when they have a conversation with me, as an HR round, or which you say, tell me about yourself rounds, then people get to understand, okay, we are actually fit for it or not. Or even the employer, who is the panelist, will also understand whether you're fit for it or not. I will always suggest, since you guys are in first year, you're going to the placements, always push back for a feedback, because feedback always helps you to improvise yourself. During my placements here, I have failed and I have grown in some things, but there's always learning. Take feedback. Even though company is little slow, bug your placement cell. Get the feedback. It's really helpful. All right. Now, 60% job seekers have poor candidate experience and 72% of them share in online. This is really big thing which happens a lot nowadays, that people, if they have really bad interview experience or anything, they will write in the Glassdoor or anything. And that also impacts your employer branding. That is also implying your talent branding, because even if your somebody answers back, so if somebody says that this company is really really bad, they had taken me so many long hours to do forward with the things, then the problem here happens is that sometimes company which is very huge, they ignore the small stuff, but slowly when they it begins into a big problem, because social media is equivalent to a world in itself. You can find everything, every detail about the company here. Even I, as a candidate, I also look for a Glassdoor, I look for all the payscale.com, every possible way. And if I don't find the review really good, Google reviews as well, I won't join the company, even though they are paying me good. Because first thing first, the experience of the candidate has been really, really bad. Okay, so these are few things which are small, small stuff which we look for. And to make up for the poor employee branding, company must offer 10% pay increase to the attractive job seeker. This is a fact. So once you join as a fresher, after a few years, once you get a years of experience or two, mostly company do try to give you, of course it requires a hike. Right now the situation is bad, people are paying you as per the current company prices, because and people are joining also because that's the dire situation. But this is a wrong way of hiring process. If somebody is looking forward for to join your company, you should have provide 10% hike at least minimum, but as per the market standard it is 30% approximately. Okay, so guys, as I'm talking so much, I would like to know. It's already been 1 hour approximately. So, just would like to know, do you have any doubts right now? Anything you would like to know about specifically? All good?
Yes, I think we are good to continue. Maybe we'll have the doubt session after this.
Okay, great. So, just last few hit and miss which I'm going to talk about from my experience and all those things which we have worked on. So, just a pretty easy to understand stuff. So always be prepared for the worst. Why I'm saying that, I had done a big mistake from my end, that this whole talent branding always requires a clientele talk. You need to understand clients' understanding on what they are pitching for, what they're looking forward for. And you need to be always prepared from your end that what you're going to talk to a person all about. So always be prepared for the worst during the meeting process. Always understand that there can be some situations where things can go bad, and always have an alternative plan B with you. Always do that. I didn't do that and I was really scolded badly. But I learned from that that next time I won't do the same thing again and again. So always be prepared for the worst situation, even in your personal life as well. Keep your expectations high or low, but be prepared for the worst. These things can happen. Now be humble, but know when to keep your points. So, as a person who has sometimes soft voice and who hesitates to talk, being an ambivert or introvert person at a times, I feel very like if somebody is very senior to you. So, once you go to a corporate world, there are two things. One company will let you say sir to a senior, and few companies in startup culture, there is nothing called sir or any salutation or anything like that. You say by the name of that person, but still there somebody has to be humble, should be very down to earth. But it doesn't mean that you don't keep your points clearly. Sometimes you get scared during the meeting, sometimes you get scared of talking to a person, telling, communicating the process. But it's really important that if you have some ideas, if you have something to tell about, if you want to understand, communicate with your senior, communicate with your colleague, so that you can understand whether your idea, whether your process is correct or not, so that you can grow by yourself. That helps a lot. And this communicate your point in easy to understand word. So speak the language of common. This is really important because we think if we use big vocabulary jargon, it's very helpful to show that we are pretty like Sashi Tharoor right now. But that is not much helpful at a times when you are speaking to a generic audience, like an audience of from your age from 20 to 50. If you have to address them all together, you cannot say multiple jargons which are not easy to understand. You cannot say some terms which are very difficult to understand. If you are going to say that, explain to them, because few people won't understand it. Be clear about your points. Keep notes. Whatever you're doing as you join a company, keep notes on what you're going to be, what you have done till now, or at least keep a Excel sheet or a log on the things which you are going to work on. It's not just about branding perspective, it's because of your personal branding as well. Because if you know what you have been doing for so long, or understanding on what you have done, by seeing that Excel sheet for 1 year also, it won't take much of your sheet. It's one sheet is enough for you. You will know what you have all done into, what you have worked on to. And when somebody asks you, tell me about yourself, There will be some unique points which will highlight you and from others. That is something best thing which you can do for. Know the person you're going to talk to. This comes in the personal branding perspective as well. When you go for an interview process, understand who is your panelist. Be prepared about the company which you're going to talk about. Always understand what kind of person this has like liking on, what kind of talk I should do to this person, what kind of questions you will be asking to that person, because at the end they are going to ask you, do you have any questions for me? Be prepared with the questions which you want to ask for. Know about the company. They should know that okay, this person has done some research, because that interests us, that oh, this guy actually knows already about the company. That's something unique. He has done his study. So that is one of the things which are looking forward for. And have the guts, will to take challenges, but don't be over smart, knowing that when to step down. It's sometimes adrenaline rush that you want to take an opportunity on, you want to take something very new to you, but understand that whether you have ever worked on this thing, how will you take on the challenge, if you are feasible or you have strength to take on these kind of points with yourself, will you be able to take this role under you? So before saying yes, think twice, because I used to do it. I wanted to take all the challenge process. I want to learn a lot, this and that. Being a fresher, I used to always think that there's a lot of learning point. I'm not going to miss it. It's a hit and miss thing. I want to grow myself. But taking too many works when you already have a work is going to be overbearing for you. You need to understand that. Understand when to step down. Saying sorry or saying that no, I won't be able to do this, it's not wrong. It's saying that in a personal branding perspective also, I'm saying this because it shows that what kind of person you are to the other person, and then how other people or your other employees are going to reach out to you is going to be also different from the perspective they go forward with. So these are some things which I have hit miss trial, I have understandings on, I have really cried about it, thinking that how should I handle all these things. But these are some things about your own personal image, personal representation, personal exploitation, which you are going to do in the future perspective. As a candidate, you have your own personal branding. And as a company, the company has its own personal branding perspective. Be that person who is able to handle the pressure, but don't be a person who is not able to handle like because of the pressure you just take on the things because you are able to handle it, because it's later going to be a saturation point for you as well. So understand that. And on the personal branding and employer branding and talent branding perspective, as I said, talent branding is all about the employee of the company, the personal experience of the person who's going to be there. So once you join the company, if you don't like about it, that is going to be something which will impact the company's branding when you talk about it to some other person or the person who is going to be next to you. So if I say that my company is this, that, yada, 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 bad and everything, then you won't ever join to my company. Why? Because the feeling which I have got through the company is bad. That's why. So this is what talent branding is all about. Your employee branding will be that what you are going to now look for a company when you are going to get hired on. So you will be looking for the job description, the company's payment, how it is going on, what is currently their competitive marketing price. So these are employer branding. A generic branding understanding is branding your design logo, making sure it's identified by the company or the client or the customer or anybody who is looking after for. So I believe we have already done this thing from our end.
So that was a wonderful session, Pratmika. Definitely a great start to our Yes Talk. So it was really good the way you told about the talent branding and how it's different from personal branding and all of that.